All right. Well, hey, everybody. Grim Green back here today. Thank you so much for joining me again. We're going to be talking about an RTA today, a mouth-to-lung RTA. This is the Kayfun Prime. And yeah, it's expensive. I just want to start this video off by saying, yeah, the Kayfun Prime is expensive. It's $120. We're going to talk about that in a second. But in order to get to know this mouth-to-lung tank just a little bit better, what we're going to do is go up close, as we often do. Yeah, quick short up-closey time. All right, yeehaw. Well, this is the Kayfun Prime. We're just going to take it apart from top to bottom, and then we're going to wick it, and then we're going to vape it. This has a very sturdy drip tip. It snaps into place really well, and it holds on there really well, especially with dry O-rings. It is a snappy fit drip tip there. You have your fill system right here, and it's literally like one turn, really short threads, and you open it up, and there's where you're going to fill your juice up, O-ring right there to seal it. It's not a lot of threading, which I really like. You can just go boop, and it's closed, and then like one turn, and then you're filling up your tank. This Kayfun, like all Kayfuns, come completely apart for easy cleaning, wicking, etc. Top comes off like that. This O-ring is supposed to stay in here, which it generally does, but sometimes it sticks to the top of the glass. It's easy to just pop back down in there. Here's your glass. This is the 4mm glass. There is a 2mm glass option as well, which you would not use this little chimney. There's a little extra chimney part right here that unscrews off. So if you use this, you can use a 4mm tank, and if you use this off, you can use a 2mm tank. I don't have the 2mm glass handy, but you can see the size of it when you screw this down on here without that extra chimney part. Yeah, it makes for a shorter, more minimal looking tank in a 2mm capacity. Now that 510 pin, it's a little bit protruding, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend rocking this Kayfun Prime on any sort of hybrid mech or anything like that. I would definitely run this on something with a 510 pin in the mod. And real quick, while we're here on the bottom, this is how you adjust the AFC. This pops up like this, and you can see little dots all over the place. There's like 3 there. I can't see very well. 3 there. 2 there, 1, and then 5. These represent different airflow. So obviously 1 is going to be the tightest, 5 is going to be the most openest, and you have 1 airflow slot right here. So you push it up, you line it up with the corresponding amount of holes you want to use. Let's say you want the most openest, and then you push it down like that. Now you'll have the most open airflow. Even with the most open airflow, it is still a mouth-to-lung tank all the way around. This just happens to be a little bit more airier of a mouth to lung. I tend to rock it right there. 3 little dots, boom, that's my airflow. This whole chimney comes off, and this chimney is actually your juice flow control as well. I'll explain that once we fill it up. And then this is your deck. Very simple, very straightforward Kayfun design. It's got 2 screws right there to capture your leads. This deck is really designed for round wire builds. I would say only. You could try fitting some fused Claptons or some aliens in there, but you would be hard pressed to actually fit them under that screw right there. And honestly, the Kayfun really shines with a nice round wire build. This is just a simple 24 gauge round wire build. I used a 24 gauge Kanthal. And when you build the Kayfun, you have 1 lead going one way, 1 lead going the other way. It's truly and honestly one of the most simple, easy decks to build on ever. But now I'm just gonna wick this up real fast and fill the tank. Peak insulator right there, by the way. Wicking up the Kayfun Prime is actually a really easy experience. I'm gonna try to do it in real time on camera if I can, but I just rolled up some organic Japanese cotton. This was a 2mm coil, so I just cut off enough cotton, you know, correspondingly to make sure that I can thread it through this coil. Yeah, really easy to get through. Once you get it through, you just pull it all the way through. You know, you want to feel a little bit of resistance, but you don't want it to be insanely tight. And your cotton just needs to go into this little cup right here, this little juice well in here. So I'm going to cut it about like that on either side. Boop. And then you just bend your cotton over and kind of pop it down into those little cups right there. And that's it. It's built and it's wicked. All you need to do is throw a little bit of juice on here and fill up the tank. But because you have your wicks sitting in those little cups, there's holes on the bottom here. You see this big gap right here? There's holes underneath, and that's where your juice is kind of going to go into those cups and then wick up to your coil. It's a fantastic system that works damn near flawlessly. You reattach the chimney / juice flow control. You just screw this all the way down. All the way down for right now. Reattached my chimney extender, and then you just pop the glass on. It rests on the O-rings. Then you can take the top cap right here, put those O-rings against the glass. Your Kayfun is basically back together. It's almost in working order right now. I like to grab the glass and make sure that this top is screwed on real tight. It's just going to make things easier when you're unscrewing and screwing this part to fill it up. You don't accidentally grab this and twist it and have this whole top part come off. So I like to crank that down tight so that I'm easier to fill this and take this off and refill it. It's just less of a headache later on. But now we're just going to fill our tank up. And yeah, pop the cap back on, and yeah, you're almost good to go, except now you need to open up your juice flow control right here. You can see these slots right here are completely closed off. And basically what you do is I hold the base right here, I grab this whole tank, and I give it like 1, 2, maybe 3. Now you can see bubble just escaped. These juice flow holes are open now, and juice is getting to your wick. You don't necessarily have to close off the juice flow control every single time you fill it, but it's probably a good idea. I haven't run into any big issues with it, but occasionally I've filled it up without closing the juice flow control, and it's gotten a little bit floody and a little bit gurgly, so it's simple enough to just close your juice flow control, fill it up, and then 1, 2, 3, like that, reopen your juice flow, and now you can see the bubbles happening. So yeah, that's it. Kayfun Prime, built, wicked, filled. Let's get back out to normal view. Let's vape this tank. So one of the things that was being discussed about the Kayfun Prime is the jumping resistance. That was kind of like a big issue when the Kayfun Prime first came out like 2 months ago. And I realized that I am late to the party with this review, but I wanted to give my 2 cents out there as well. God, it's such a good, flavorful mouth-to-lung tank. The Kayfun Prime, nobody can touch the Kayfun Prime with flavor that I've come across yet. All the Kayfun tanks have always had awesome flavor, and the Kayfun Prime is no different. The flavor is stellar. I've got this loaded up with 12 milligram Helen from the Lane Cove line. It's a delicious juice, and it tastes fucking wonderful in this Kayfun. I know one of the issues in the past that a lot of people were talking about with the Kayfun Prime is the jumping resistance. People were getting a lot of jumping resistances. And when I first started building on it, I was having the same issues. It would go from like a 1.3 ohm build, and it would drop down to like a 0.9 or a 0.8, and then jump back up to like a 1.3. And I was confused. I had no idea what was going on, but I learned that if you tighten down your 510 connection on the atomizer, the actual pin in the bottom, just make sure that that is nice and snug in there, you will not have any jumping resistance issues. They just magically go away. I'm not sure what happened at the factory. Maybe they weren't tightened down all the way. Maybe they weren't tightened down all the way on purpose, although I doubt it. All you got to do is tighten it down. You'll be good to go. Now, if you are a die-hard Kayfun fan, you are not going to do any better than the Kayfun Prime. It is the newest and most best version of the Kayfun tanks. The construction, the fit and finish, top to bottom, it's a flawlessly designed and put together tank. Easy to use, easy to build, easy to wick, easy to adjust the airflow, easy to control the juice flow, easy to fill. I have very little gripes with this RDA other than the price. Now, the Kayfuns have always been expensive, and the Kayfun Prime, yeah, vape budget hands, it's about $120. Now, once upon a time, when the Kayfuns were the only solid mouth-to-lung RTAs on the market, you either got a Kayfun and had a great mouth-to-lung experience, or you didn't. There weren't really many more options. But now, in 2017, if you're just looking for a slick mouth-to-lung RTA, there are things out there like the Berserker, like the Eris, like the Berserker Mini, like the Digiflavor Siren. There are lots of other great mouth-to-lung options out there. And unfortunately, if we're going to play the Aliens game or the FDA game where they come and take everything I have, is the Kayfun Prime something I would seek out and buy right away? Probably not, especially not at that price. And don't get me wrong, this is a basically flawless tank that I believe is worth the price. That is just an expensive price. And it's especially expensive when there are lots of other less expensive options out there. But make no mistakes about it, the mouth-to-lung vape that you get from the Kayfun series of tanks, and especially the Kayfun Prime, is awesome. It's just a great mouth to lung, and the flavor cannot be touched. The flavor of a Kayfun cannot be touched. I stand by that statement unflinchingly. So yeah, without getting too rambly here, I'm going to wrap this up. It is what it is. It is the Kayfun Prime. It is a stellar mouth-to-lung tank. It is a very high-quality mouth-to-lung tank, and it is also, unfortunately, a very expensive mouth-to-lung tank. So get out your vape budget hands. If you have your eyes on the Kayfun Prime, save some money and get a Kayfun Prime. But that's what I got, everybody. I will have some links down in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, yeah, let's keep on vaping.